Just a week to go till South Africa's election, and News 24 reports that it spoke today, just a week before the election, to party elders in Tonga outside Nelspruit. These ANC veterans in Mpumalanga say former President Jacob Zuma's decision to form the Umkhonto we Sizwe party proves that he has always had a double agenda. Strange, he was president for 9.5 years. There were no complaints about any double agenda then, only now, when he threatens to push the ANC below 50%. Professor Mdululi, an 82-year-old, said he joined the ANC back in 1985. I love the ANC because it was able to transform South Africa. Today, we see development in South Africa. I've been voting for the ANC for the past 6 elections. I'm not confused. No, you're not confused, sir. Just willing to participate in the collapse of South Africa and the kleptocracy that is the ANC. Transform South Africa into what? A failed state? That's all they've transformed South Africa into. And what development are you seeing in South Africa? It's all going backwards. For his part, Percy Masuku, 84 years of age, said he joined the ANC back in 1960. That would really make him a veteran for sure. He said, the ANC is my everything. I live for it. It's done so much for me. I don't think anything about Zuma, but I find it disturbing that he formed his political party. Well, how nice for you to live for the ANC. If only the nearly 90 murdered South Africans every day, the hundreds of thousands of those who died from HIV because of Thabo Mbeki had the same option to live under the ANC as well. Now, the octogenarian Masuku added, I'm a cohort of Chris Hani. I'm a veteran. I went to bed hungry for the ANC. I buried many people in the ANC. Zuma is Zuma. He can do what he wants. Everyone has a choice. I had comrades when we were in exile. He said, this is a political issue. I grew up in the ANC and left the country in 1958 to fight for the ANC in Swaziland, Mozambique, and Russia. I'm a real MK veteran. I was once the commander of an MK structure. We were all commanders with Zuma. Now, Masuka said he worked alongside a number of ANC leaders, including late Chris Hani and Tabang Maktwela. We were together. So what? Most marriages begin on a happy note. You don't see people get married yelling at each other. But then things change later. Spouses harm one another, and then comes divorce. If half of all marriages can end in divorce, why are ANC loyalists so devoted to a party that is little more than a racketeering scheme to enrich the leaders at the expense of all South Africans? I think that's a fair question. Now, these ANC elders are like abused spouses who stay in a marriage that is contrary to their best interest. Gabrielle Ngomane, 71-year-old, who joined the ANC while she was still in school, said, I was in the unions. I went to jail and they got me out. I will vote for the ANC. I will die in the ANC and the South African Communist Party. I don't want to speak about Zuma. He sold us out. I'd like the government to create jobs. The kids also need sports grounds so that they can play sports. Yes, indeed, you will die in the ANC and Communist Party. And that is, of course, your choice, your prerogative. Zuma sold you out? Probably. But your blinders appear to be preventing you from seeing the obvious. The ANC also sold you out. See the government create jobs? Well, First Lady, governments destroy jobs by robbing from the private sector. Governments do not create jobs. Every job created by the government usually prevents 2 jobs or more from being created in the private sector. If you think government can create jobs, riddle me this. Why has the ANC not created jobs for 30 years? What are they waiting for? The rapture? You're going to vote for the ANC because you want them to create jobs. But 30 years of them not creating jobs ought to give you prima facie evidence that they're incapable of it. This is the definition of insanity. Needing sports grounds? Have you ever noticed the White Elephant Stadium right there that the ANC built in Nelspruit for the 2010 FIFA World Cup? Why did they use that money to build that sports facility for the FIFA World Cup? It sits largely empty almost all the time. Why not have used the money to build sports fields for kids? Or after it was built, use the revenue from the stadium to fund sports grounds. Of course, they couldn't use the revenue because there's virtually no revenue from this white elephant that the ANC built for their prestige project and for the money that could be funneled to their friends in BEE tenders. Well, these ANC stalwarts will vote until their death for the ANC, and they are the reason South Africa is in the crapper. People like this, incapable of dispassionate, objective voting, but simply voting out of loyalty. Well, that's a shame. These fossils will eventually die off, and South Africans will be left with a riddled corpse of a country that had so much promise in 1994 and has been buried by state collapse, courtesy of voters like these folks. Well, there you have it, folks. A week to go. Buckle up, South Africa. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Hey, if you're not a subscriber, why don't you hit the button right below the video? Hit that, become a subscriber. Costs you nothing but a moment of your time. There's no charge for it, not to pay for membership. We'd appreciate it, supporting the channel. Thanks a lot, folks. Cheers.